all crypto nation and mining family. What's going on? What up, everybody? Sorry for being a smidgen late, fellas. I've got cool stuff that I've had going on, so that was one reason, and then I was waiting a little bit extra for our man over there, Gunday. What's up? Sorry, guys, no Mikkel. Him and his fam are sicker than all get out, so he's like, I'm going to take the weekend off, and I'm like, you take care, fam. I get you. So here we got our guy Gundy here stepping in. Yo.
What up, guys? What up? It's right. Saturday.
Right. So what's up, DogeLord? That one guy. We got the Golden Wolf in the house, too. Don't forget to smash that lizardy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification as you guys are sliding on in. Yo, that's right. Right. You gotta smash that lizardy like button the way that Bitcoin slides its way on up too. Oh, sitting around that 29,137. Damn. I've been getting myself so educated that I like haven't paid attention to any crypto news all week.
No, nothing.
Nothing, bro.
Oh yeah, you've been that deep in mini circuitry.
Oh my god! Oh, holy cow, dude! It's like if you guys have never seen an S9 hash board, there are components on there that look like specks of dirt. They are capacitors, resistors, diodes, LDOs, temp sensors. Yeah, all the good stuff, and you're not getting that on without a microscope. I mean, just
got supervision, you know.
like my instructor, he's got eagle vision. It's so nice to have them young eyes. But I guess when you're looking at it enough, like towards the end of the week, I actually started being able to like kind of just sit back and look and be like, oh, almost ready. It's right there, and got it. Oh wow! Yeah. It's like you start being able to see it, and then you're like, is all the pads on that ASIC? Oh, nope. I see a missing pad. Like that one's gone. Oh yeah, that's why this. Oh god. So hold on. Let me actually grab a hash board, so I can show.
Demonstrate. Oh.
Because that is something that I do have.
Did you get a new chair too, man? You get a new chair?
Huh?
You get a new chair?
No, I've had this one for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a $1,300 chair.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Must be nice to live in comfort.
Well, if you're gonna sit down on it a lot, man, you might as well. This is This is like competition to Herman Miller. So exactly. So here, fellas, is an S9 hashing board. I got three PCIe. You got your data cable. You've got your large capacitors right here and through here. Right down here, this is your boost circuit. This boost circuit powers up the last few domains here. A domain, you see every solid thick cooler, that is one cooler separate. These are all soldered onto the board, onto the grounding pads. All of these are grounding pads. And they don't all need to have it. It's just they've got it. That's why there's chips here. There's 63 ASICs on here, all utilizing 1.8 volts. And so right here you've got your I don't know if you can see it. It's like a little PIC chip. So the PIC chip basically tells everything on here, the voltages that it's supposed to be utilizing. It's not an EEPROM where it would be storing any kind of errors on here. It is just basically telling the hash board how to fire up, and it opens up your MOSFET field over here for your 12 volt and your 1.8 volt to go through the whole hash board. And out of here, there'll also be a 3.3 circuit. And then let's see here.
3.3 volt reference.
Yeah. And I know my stuff's not going to show it at all. Like,
really hard to see green.
Underneath each one of these coolers is 5 test points just below here. That you need a nice good needle to be able to hit them really good. On the back side, you can't let these coolers touch another cooler.
And look how close they are, man.
Grounds are separate on each chip. If any of these coolers touch, it will short that domain out.
And that'd be a world of problem. You'd probably let the smoke out with that one.
You can. It's a great potential. Then you've got you got all the different little functions on here. Like, so I got one hash board with none of these capacitors on, and I was like, you know what? For the hell of it, let's see if this thing tests. How does it test without these capacitors on here?
Nothing. Is that for power or no?
Ground filters.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't need it, and I got the hash board to fire up with 62 out of the 63 ASICs.
Wow.
That's what I said too. I'm like, it fired up? Okay.
It probably has some long-term benefits, if you're going to leave it.
Right. It cancels out some of the noise to ground. So it makes the ground a little bit more uniform.
Tighten up in that sine wave,
Right, exactly. You have like little itty bitty LDOs, like right above my fingers, that black little speck. I love how the green screen almost cancels out the board, and you can see a little black piece of dirt. It's an LDO right there, and it's a load dropout chip. So basically, once the board sees the voltages coming in the right direction, it will allow voltage to go out for that domain. One of the first boards I tried to repair had that LDO circuit had basically shorted in the board. Man, I was sitting there chasing this issue for like 4 hours. Yeah. Going, I don't get what I'm looking at here, but it just, I've replaced all the chips in there. I mean, outside of just outright replacing all the components in these regions. So I replaced a few of the components that tested bad, and it helped a little bit, but I still had voltage leakage through the ASIC chips, even though there was nothing wrong with the ASIC chips.
Wow.
So definitely had board fried.
Yeah, once something smashed into the PCB, like, it's bad. Like, it's pretty much throwaway.
No, you want to know what it is? So if you guys get into ASICs, so something that I learned. So if I was gonna give non-repair people two suggestions to make sure that you have the longevity of your ASIC chips. Because first off, clean these things. If they freaking start getting dirty, clean. Don't let dirt get up into these things. Some of the S19s have cellophane to try to mitigate dirt getting stuck in the areas and making dust bridges for power. That's what shorts out your ASIC chips. Second thing is don't right. The second thing is you do not want to let these things just turn off. So some of the same issues, like if everybody remembers, Red Panda having issues with his Radeon 7s having the code 43s.
Yeah.
So
is that what happens when you just yank them from power?
Yeah, when you just turn them off, so the cooler can only get so hot before you get what they call heat creep, and heat creep will break stuff. And not only can it break chips, but it can break solder joints.
Yeah, I mean it's like when you turn off your car right away, your catalytic converter is still freaking hot.
Right. So what I would suggest to people for their ASICs, if you know you're going to be turning them off, unplug the Ethernet for a little bit and let it hash down. This way the fans are still rolling on it, and let the ASIC cool down before you just unplug it. A lot of times, a lot of the ASICs, all I had to do was just reflow the ASIC chip and it would come back.
Wow, really? Nice.
Because as it sat there and cooled down, the solder joint went bink because it got so hot that everything kind of warped a little bit.
Yeah. And then, if you yank power and the fans turn right off, like it's still gonna
still hot. Yeah, it's still got heat in there
before it starts to cool down.
Right.
Especially if there's no airflow.
And it's high temp solder that they use. So your standard off the shelf solder you cannot use on these things.
Oh yeah, no. Especially when you do a micro too, you need to get that special stuff.
Yeah, it's just high temp solder. And literally, dude, I was sitting there laying chips out at 430 degrees Celsius.
Just zapping them all on. Bing, 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 bing.
Oh, yeah. Just sitting there, like, you just heat the board up because you're leaving the other coolers on. So you got to get heat into the board.
Yeah.
You got to get heat into the coolers that are all around what you're trying to heat up. And then the solder tries to liquefy on you.
Yeah. A fine line between, hard as a rock and a little bit of molten elasticity.
Oh, yeah. And then what's cool is that these are aluminum on the front side, but there's no contact to ground on the top side, right? They use a thermally active black glue.
Mm.
It is so cool to play around.
It's so hard to pull those off because they're glued on.
Yeah, you've got to heat them up in order to get the glue to become brittle, so you can snap it off.
Yeah.
But to put the coolers on, it's actually kind of cool. You just lightly warm up the area. You spread the glue out, so you make like a square width inside the square, to where you're almost all the way to the edge with this black glue. And then you set the cooler down, and then you start applying heat to the cooler. And let me tell you, the lightest tap. You don't tap it a lot. If you've got like a shaky hand, you're gonna blast the cooler clean off the chip.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there just kind of going tink, 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 real light tap, and you'll smell it right about when it's done. Like you'll smell the glue like activate at a certain temperature, and as you're sitting there tapping, all of a sudden the cooler stops wiggling.
Yeah, because it's stuck to it. Yeah.
No, it's solidified because it's thermally activated. And then you pull the thing away, let it cool back down, and then when it's cooled down, you can just take it and do one of these numbers to it. Just scrape your finger or a tool right across the fins.
Yeah.
If it comes off, do it again.
Yeah, man, that's tedious work, man. Can you imagine all the people over, Bitmain putting all those things together?
Oh, they got picking places for that.
Yeah.
Now for the repair center, they're going through the same stuff I just learned.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. It's just like anything else, like Apple, like they want you to be like Apple certified.
And I hate putting these soldered coolers on because it puts a lot of heat into the chip too. And that will cause you to have occasionally a bad connection to the chip. It'll pop your solder joint on you. I had an issue with that. Like I had to reset my back cooler like 3 times before I finally got it. Like as soon as I saw it, like the solder like bubble a little bit, I pulled the key away and started blowing on it. I'm like, cool down, cool down, cool down.
Yeah. Stop.
Stop. No more. And then finally, like I got everything together and I put the hash board together, tested it out, and I had 63 ASIC chips registering, communicating, and ready for soak-in test, where you just put it into a machine and you let it burn in and hash away for an
Yeah.
hour or more and just make sure it's stable.
Yeah, make it do push-ups till it throws up, and then you're like, all right, it's good.
Right, right, right. So like I know my voltages that go through the board. I know I know how to test for all the diodes on this. So for anything bit main style, I'll have absolutely no issues of basically working on it.
Hey man, go after the kings of industry at the moment, you know. So
Right, right.
there's plenty of old ASICs to be worked on.
Bro, you know how, like, where I was at, they picked up a huge skid of S9 boards, dude.
Yeah,
That's what I was working on today, was doing the initial diagnostics on them. So,
either replace or trash.
no, we had ones that had all the components still on the board. Might have had a cooler or two missing off of it, but all the components were still attached to the board and looking like they were in one piece, right? So they're not worth going through at the component level unless, you know, Bitcoin hits, you know, $60,000 a coin and up. And then everybody and their mother. Right. And so basically, I was putting in the test jig into this, reading what chips would come on. And if the chips wouldn't come on, the first thing that I would do is I'd flip it over to the MOSFETs right here and see if the PIC chip was commanding these on, and then if they were being commanded on, was the voltage coming out of it. So just making sure that I had my 1.8 volt rail and my 12 volt rail coming out through these.
Yeah, that's the first thing, you know.
Right.
Is it on?
Can
you turn it on?
Right, exactly. Did it try to do something more than fart?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Do you have power? Please acknowledge.
I had a few where, like, I was using a bit main power supply to put power to it, and occasionally the bit main power supply would turn off because whatever patchboard I hooked it up to, there was a short going through the MOSFETs.
Oh, it would go back through the power supply. Yeah.
Oh yeah, short out right there and put it into power protection mode, and then I would sit there and hook up my the variable power supply unit and inject some voltage into there manually that'll stay on forcibly, and sit there and start tracking and tracing some stuff.
What do you have, like what are you using, like a? Because I always automotive side. I always used like a 12 volt power probe.
So it's like a power supply. It's like a normal power supply that I'm using, but I can actually control the voltage and amperage.
Okay, that's cool.
So I could turn it up to 24 volt if that's what I need to inject into it. That would be like the S9s. I mean, not the S9, the S19s. That'll be 24 volt being injected into it. So you'll be a little bit higher on the spectrum for those hash boards. So these ones are 12 volts. So 12 volts gets injected into this. And you're either going to feel stuff get really warm, or you're basically going to be nothing will happen just because, you know, it's shorting out in the MOSFETs. But if, you know, it's like if it's not shorting out in the MOSFETs, you got power in there and zero ASIC. They were having me pop these bad boys into the oven and reflowing them in an oven for like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, just to get them all super dry.
Well, no, to reflow the solder. So we were putting in some special flux juice that was like fast activation.
That was the fix for the Xbox Red Ring of Death, though, is to get the box real hot.
No, that wasn't. That was
melt to itself to the board.
No, because when you got the Red Ring of Death on the Xboxes, the capacitors around the chip would go out, so you had to replace all the capacitors.
I thought there was levels to it. I don't know. For some reason, I think I remember someone.
You're thinking of the PlayStation 3.
I don't know. They wrapped it in a towel and ran it, and it got so hot it resoldered to the board or something.
Yeah, that was they were doing at the PlayStations.
Was that
It was like
PlayStation?
the PlayStation 3s. And that wasn't really the fix either. That would be like a temporary fix, and then it would
Yeah.
go out. Then it would go out catastrophically.
Oh, after that,
Um,
I'm sure.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They were not very good. Not the early day ones. Um, so I
Hey,
mean,
man, it was the cheapest Blu-ray player you could get on the market.
right?
I
Facts,
mean,
facts.
that's why most people got those PS3s back then.
Yeah,
You know,
I was a PS3 fan at that point.
just a PS3. I mean, just a Blu-ray player. I think around the time was like 5, 6, 700 bucks. So like you get a $299, $399 PlayStation. You're like, and it comes with Blu-ray. Oh shit, done.
Right, done, son. So yeah, I learned a lot in that class, and it got me to where I mean today I was sitting there doing some board level stuff, replacing out like micro pieces off of one board, trying to get the boost circuit to come back because
Yeah,
the boost
did you
circuit
get
was
like?
all jacked.
Did you get to keep any like electrical wiring diagrams for any of the ASICs?
I don't need that now.
No.
No, it's simpler than what I thought. What I was trying to make it out to be.
Well, I mean,
I thought these things were more complex. So there's 5 signals that you have coming in and out of a chip.
Mhm.
Um, you've got your clock signal, you've got your reset signal, you got your BO signal, your RI. RI is your communication from chip to chip. So if you got 0 ASIC, some ASIC, and you've already verified power, you just go through and check to see if you've got 2.2 volts on your RI going around the outer edges. If you've got your 2.2 volts around the edges at the RI, you start looking at the inner fields. On the inner fields, you'll have 1.8. And you just go wherever that signal stops. That's the domain that's being affected.
Yeah,
And
trace it back until you find a fault.
right wherever the fault is, it could be that chip, it could be the one behind it, or the one in front of it.
Yeah, because you're just testing it at the junction, so there's already like technically 2 chips touching it already.
Right. So once you figure that out, you can sit there and you're doing the your 3 R's, which is either you're going to reflow the chip, remove and replace the chip. So when you're removing it, you're going to inspect the solder pads, make sure that it has solder on there and hasn't gone flat on you. If it did, put more solder down and then replace it and then put the same chip back down. If that doesn't work, you can either swap the chip from one position to another and see if, like in automotive world, like if you've got an ignition coil, does the misfire follow the coil, or does it stay in the same cylinder?
Yeah, a real quick, easy way to diag sometimes.
So if the chip doesn't want to come back and you move it into a different spot, then that's the issue. If it comes back in a different spot, then it's either the socket that you re-inspect the socket and then replace the chip that's in the socket that's no longer communicating, because that's probably the chip that's bad.
Well, I remember if you're a Ford mechanic, like back in the early 90s, it was replaced with known good part because there was no repair track.
Well, that's when Ford
What do
patented
you think is wrong with it? Oh, okay, just throw this in there and see if it works.
Well, that's where Ford patented the wiggle test,
Yeah.
and the KISS formula, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And the wiggle test, you take a wire and you wiggle it 6 inches from the connector. Because man, they were replacing a lot of seat connectors back in the day that didn't need to be replaced.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I always hated like when a bigger person came in and would complain about like the traveling speed of the seat motors. And you know, it's really hard to like explain to them that it's a brand new car and this is the fastest it's gonna go.
Right. This is peak performance, bro.
You
It
know, this
only
thing
gets
is
slower from
trying to
here.
cruise on this thing after 30,000 miles. But yeah, you know, built to last. You know, built to last.
It's like, what does he want? Oh, I want super fast speed. And he opens up the door and it almost ejects him into the back seat. Or the seat just slides out from underneath him and he just hits the ground.
Super fast.
My seat goes too fast now. Slow that down.
True. No, it is the weekend. We gotta slow it down.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know what who else has been noticing stuff slowing down? AMD. You've seen AMD's prices have freaking dropped now. You can pay less than $500 for 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory now.
What, the 7900s?
Yeah. So hold on here. You can
Really?
get.
They're that low now?
All right, hold on. The last gen's RX 6900 and 6800. So last gen, $499 and $649 respectively.
Ooh, that is cheap, man.
Hells yeah, dude. I mean, that you're looking for brand new gear with a warranty.
That can game too.
Hells yeah.
Like, yeah.
So what? You're not gonna get ray tracing, right?
Oh no! Oh no!
Right? Oh no!
Oh no! Not the ray tracing.
Right? Anything but the ray tracing. I can't do it.
It did get a lot better with the third version, and I haven't seen any 4 version cards yet, so you know. But
And there's no
when that came out at the 2 version, I was like,
and if
what
you
is
think
this?
about it, the 7900 XT lowest price is $762. Bro, that's a steal too.
Yeah, that's not very much upmarket for the brand new stuff, you know.
No.
Pretty close to an old stuff price, even being low like that, you know.
Right, where the 4090s at $1599, 4080 $1199, the 4070 Ti $799.
Maybe they just know what's coming.
3080 is $699.
Maybe they just know what's coming, so you know, they drop their prices early so they get, you know.
No, there's
jump in,
bro. Even during the whole pandemic garbage, AMD, I can go to any micro center in the country, and AMD cards were full in the shelves the whole time.
Yeah.
Not a single NVIDIA card on the other shelves.
Yeah, that was probably on purpose, but
it was that people wanted, you know, what they perceived was top tier performance. And, you know, so now AMD is still kind of feeling the wrath on that one, especially since people are afraid of the 7900 XTX and the 7900 XT because of some of them burning, you know, having been burnt up basically because the cooler. Yeah, because yep. There was a bad cooler design on some of them. Did not meet minimum specifications.
Oh, shame.
Right, and depending on what name, and it didn't matter what orientation that you had it in, it still would mess up.
Oh, so it's like probably a manufacturing defect, actually.
Yeah. It was in the vapor. It was like a bad vapor chamber design.
Hopefully the people that got that model get a new one.
Right. Yeah, most of those cars burnt up real quick.
He's on fire. Yeah.
All right, it's hot. It's done. Blue screen of death never comes back.
Yeah. That's like, you know, in the data center space, we were getting these like bare bones, bare metal, like 1U server blades, and they were using really crappy wiring for the wiring from the plug in the back to the PSU, like inside of it. And man, those wires would catch fire real easy. Just be in the room, you're like, what's that burning smell? If you ever been in a room where they're about to deplete the gas, though, you better get out of there quick. I think maybe they said they had like 90 seconds to get out of the room or something.
Right.
Before they lock you in and suck all the oxygen out.
Right. Right. And then NVIDIA looks like they are going to be making an NVIDIA SMI system management interface. I don't know if this is going to be completely available to the public, but bro, I hope it is, because it will give you full ability to customize and unlock the frame rates or full hashing potential.
Would this be like just software, or would it be like a plug and play kind of thing?
Software. It's gonna be it's gonna be software management. So it'll be NVIDIA GPU Power Management SMI. You'll be able to control your monitor and control your power draws. What P state you want to utilize.
Did you say this is for MSI?
No, this is NVIDIA's SMI, system management.
Okay.
Yeah, system management interface.
Yeah.
So we're basically gonna get a tool that will do a lot of what the AMD overclocking tool does for you.
Wattman.
Yeah, well, not
Wattman.
just Wattman, but you got NVIDIA's tool that is specifically, I mean, not NVIDIA, AMD Ryzen Master is the AMD equivalent to this, but I think this is going to give you way more control, because you'll be able to see all 5 P states of the memory. You'll be able to do
Not
GPU
just like surface temp or whatever.
Right. So you'll be able to do GPU power draw, GPU average power, for all your monitoring. You'll be able to control all the voltages through the card. So if you're really wanting to push it, you're going to be able to here, and you can it'll allow you to lock in that P state. Yeah.
Make every channel run like the exact same. I don't know. Would you gain any efficiency from running everything like, even like that? I don't know.
Well, if you were able to individually tune each GPU, imagine using the bare minimum power to achieve the maximum hash rate and have it dialed in perfectly.
Yeah, like super dial.
Because you got to remember, your chips, the chip is using 1.8 volts. So knowing that the chip uses 1.8 volts, where do we usually undervolt the AMD GPUs? Right about 1.25 volts to the core. Yeah. Any lower, and it either software ignores you or it starts crashing a lot.
Yeah, it fails to like stay on.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's so, I mean, like the newer AMDs, they give you your so much control over power to be able to really dial in the hash rate, keep your temperatures down, and all that good stuff. That's basically how I've tuned my 6800 XT. Is that thing is like, I've got so much power management on that. It's pretty decent because it's got the SoC chip in there for the AI. I'm able to, I had to control the voltage on that because it would just consistently crash because it would go into max boost. It's like, no, slow down, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, oh, you want 5 gigahertz? I got you. Hang on a second.
And talking about some AMD stuff here too, we got the next gen AMD height, reportedly called Shimida Peak AMD Threadripper Pro. Ooh, new workstation CPU.
Oh, take over the Rise or whatever.
Well, no, because like This is just going to be Threadrippers are are going to be workstations.
Yeah.
That's what their market is all about, is the workstation. So business, small enterprise stuff. That's basically all it's really for.
Running DaVinci Resolve. Got it.
Right, exactly. That server, small little local servers and stuff like that. If you've got many ports of entry, like you would at like an auto parts store where they've got multiple computers all being interfaced into one local unit, the Threadripper Pro would be the workstation for a place like that. So
yeah, then you can just deploy virtual machines with like bare bones.
Oh my god, yes, and just have just terminals for everything.
It's they do that a lot in hospital settings too. It's a
Yep,
lot more secure.
Yep.
You can control the network and what the actual end nodes can do and can't do.
100%. But this is the Shemitah Peak. Isn't looking like it's going to come out until 2025. So this will not help out anybody that's wanting to do proof of useful work.
What about for testing purposes? We gotta.
They're probably. I mean, you got to think. So the new Threadripper, they've been in development for at least 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Intel is 7 years of development. So anytime you see a new Intel chip, just think it's 7 years old.
Yeah. And then think about how the government's 10 years ahead of us.
Right.
We get 20-year-old tech compared to what the government's using right now. That's crazy, man.
So, but we do have that's going to be slated for this year for the Threadripper Pro, which it'll still be the Height It line. But it'll be Storm Peak instead of Shemitah Peak, which will be Zen 4 architecture, 5 to 6 nanometer. It's not 5 to 6 nanometer in interface size, but the node that it was snapped from is either going to be a 5 to a 6 nanometer technology behind it for each one of the chiplets. This is a multi-chip design. That's how Threadrippers work. It's one of the coolest features I love about the Threadripper, and it's the reason why it's got so many bloody lanes of glorious data.
Yeah. How many PCI lanes do you need? I got them all.
Right, dude. I got them for days.
You'll
and you
never
get that,
run out.
And you
Never.
get that. You even get that on the enthusiast line of the Threadripper too. I've got on my 5950X, I think it's 64 lanes. It's like
32 core, like
yeah,
thread.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got the 3900. I think it's the same.
Yeah. You should have 60.
Slower.
You should have 64, 63 lanes, something like that.
Yeah. Giggity.
Where the for the Threadripper Pro will be up to 90. The Threadripper Pros will be up to 97 lanes. So if you're wanting to do proof of useful work, you'll have to find a custom motherboard that will give you a by 8 data lanes so that you can plug GPUs directly into the motherboard, or using PCIe by 8 ribbon cables. You cannot do them into a by 1 adapter.
Oh no.
Yep.
I bet you Windows really likes it when you try, though.
I didn't have any real issues whenever I was testing it.
Whenever I start adding graphics cards and display outputs on Windows, it's like, what do you want me to do? Like, system crashing, system going down. Yeah.
Oh, you got to enable some stuff in BIOS for it to be happy. You basically you have to put if your motherboard doesn't support being turned into a server. I mean, that's basically the requirement at the end of the day, right? I mean, you're putting above 4G encoding on, that server status right there. You can sit there and enable certain PCIe gens on it. some motherboards will give you some extra features on there that are more server-like than others. So I mean, like, yeah, you'll find out if you're trying to do that. If if your motherboard will support it. Usually your mini ATX boards and stuff like that don't support that, just because the board's already cut down. They're like, yeah, you'll never use this. You only got one spot to plug a GPU in anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you got the paid version of DaVinci, but I think if you do, you could probably throw a like a GPU rig onto your computer that you're using for that program and use all of the whole GPU rig to assist in the video editing.
Oh my god, bro! I can already
render 8K and shit, you know.
I can already render 2K 20-minute video in 5 minutes.
That's good, man.
Right? I'm like, this Threadripper just whoops it.
Right.
Threadripper with 64 gigs of RAM. Oh my god, I got RAM for days.
RAM for days. You gotta have it, man. You gotta have it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're gonna, like, ultimately, are you still doing the streaming and mining at the same time with the Threadripper?
No, I've chilled out on that one. I've got I could do it at a 1900X.
Yeah.
But this 1950X gets a little warm.
Does it? Yeah. I remember you used to allocate like half the threads just to for mining, and then you can just use the rest for your streaming.
Yeah, I would do it, but the 1900X is it's a hot monster. And it's just because it's the first gen balls to the wall. It's better than the 1900X that I got off of, but it's not perfect. They didn't really fix a lot of the stuff until the second gen. That's when they finally fixed it. And then by third gen, they were like, we know what we're playing with here now, guys. We got you.
I want to say they were fighting that on like all chip manufacturers back when the speed thing was starting to become like more and more apparent.
Well, it was like people were trying
fighting off heat.
Well, yeah, and the Threadrippers are just such big monolithic die setup on there. Oh my god, dude.
It's a big one, yeah.
So, like, air cooling and trying to push the limits on it wasn't really recommended. It was actually better to pull power off of the chip than it was to let it just drink. Because, like, it'll pull 1.5 volts to the core. And if you sit there and you hard limit it at about 1.275 volts to the core, the Threadripper will stay nice and cool.
Yeah, because you gotta choke it out somehow.
Right, and it'll still boost. I have not seen it not boost. I with my 1900X, I got 4.2 gigahertz across all 8 cores. While it only pulling 1.285 volts, so I was undervolting it and slapping it, and it was handling it.
Yeah.
It was getting hot, dude, quick, even at that little voltage.
This is your target temperature. Please agree.
But the Threadrippers can live life, and it's just according to AMD at 68C is the optimum temperature for a Threadripper.
Oh man, you probably you were liquid cooling it too. You're probably sitting at what, 62?
That's if I'm playing a game and streaming.
Maybe idle would probably be what, like 48?
Oh god, no. Try like 33.
Man, that's chilly.
Oh yeah, my GPU will be at 29C. Yeah. You're talking room temperature at my GPU, dude.
They got those big heat sinks.
Well, it's water blocked too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole system's water blocked.
Oh.
All right, I got EK water block on the CPU and the GPU. EK coolers on here.
You got a standalone kit or whatever?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I built it on stream on Crypto and Hot Rods.
What?
Oh yeah.
That was the same one?
Yeah.
Mm, man.
It's a beast of a PC. It
I'm
freaking is
getting old,
heavy
man.
as
I'm getting old.
it's heavy as all get out too with all the water in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
That
I was like,
radiator.
this isn't too holy cow, I'm gonna freaking
Yeah.
blow my back out doing this.
Dude, even just like having like a pump res combo. I had a pump res combo and a single rad doing my old like pile driver what was it? The 3975 or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, yeah, the heat monster.
Yeah, that thing, man, you could liquid cool it. It would do five gigahertz all day on all cores. It would get hot, but it would never get to the point where I would worry about overheating it.
Right. Yeah, I was using the Intermax on the 1900X Threadripper. It worked good, but the Intermaxes have a corrosion problem, so I can't recommend them to anybody. But they're the only AIO that will out the box be for the Threadripper.
Oh no!
Otherwise, get the Noxua air cooler for it with the dual tower. That's a good one for the Threadripper. Or you just go EK and just EK or Alpha Cool.
Yeah, full custom loop.
Oh yeah, that's what I did. Full custom loop on it.
Yeah, man.
I got a 360 mil radiator on the front, 280 mil on the top.
So many fans.
I know, right?
Hey, have you seen Nem's OnlyFans?
Right. And if I've got one extra radiator, but I would have to put it on, mount it to the outside of my case.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like for a third one?
Yeah. For the small back 120 mil radiator.
Yeah. You think you could bring the temp down, the overall temp down, with the bigger third radiator?
Oh yeah. Well, for whenever the system goes under load, yeah.
I would just be able to help out with overhead.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Because I would put it from the GPU right to that radiator, and then to the CPU. This way, some of the heat's been wicked away from the coolant before it touches the CPU, and the CPU will see lower temperatures going in. I've thought about it. I have the radiator to do it.
Yeah. You're like, do I want to waste my time of the day?
I have the hose to do it.
Yeah.
I think I have the fittings.
I got more coolant. Let's do it.
I got a gallon's worth of coolant.
Yeah. You just get your plain old regular ones, or you got any special kind of fluids?
I just get regular clear. The any of the goofy colorings and stuff will clog in it'll gunk it up. And since I've built my custom loop, I've already had to pull my CPU block apart.
Apart?
Yeah, apart. Just normal copper corrosion getting stuck in the cooling fins of the CPU block.
Really?
Yes, sir.
So it wasn't making like direct connection with water with
it was actually impeding flow.
Yeah. That's a big fat negative. You get heat spots and shit.
Oh yeah. I was like noticing everything was like kind of running goofy, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I noticed there was an air bubble in the CPU block. So I started burping the system out. I'm like, well, maybe I got an air bubble in there. Oh, whatever. And then I'd burp it and it'd come back. I'd burp it, it would come back. And then finally as I was burping it the last time, and I looked at it and I could see the corrosion line, because like above the fin stack, they put a plate in there to divert the water to go into the center of the cooling fins, so that they go down and then sharply turn across the cooling fins. That whole line was clogged.
Oh yeah.
So I had to drain the loop.
Probably just from regular deposits from whatever coolant you had in there,
Yeah, and I'm using the Mod My Mods, their brand mod water, the clear mod water.
Mod water. I think I saw that at the store.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with mod water. There's no difference between the mod water and the EK coolant. So I mean, it's not like anything like that. And because I'm using clear, it really shouldn't. The only because it's green, the only thing that turns green in the system is copper.
I mean,
So
don't be breaking out the Dex cooler or anything like that.
so
You
I
probably could though.
yeah, but I know it's because of the copper though. The green deposits are that's copper breakdown.
Yeah, yeah. Copper breakdown starts getting that, but like green patina on it almost.
Yeah, yeah. So I figure that's like it probably will do that every 9 months to a year. They tell you that you'll end up having to clean your loop out every so often. Well, I mean, I cleaned
it's probably more like buying a new water block for the chip.
It's been like 8 months since like I built 8 or 9 months since I built the system, and it's on 24/7.
Golden Wolf says put some nitric acid flow through it and you clean it out real nice.
So yeah, the custom cooling custom cooling is custom water blocks are pretty awesome until you realize that it comes with a little bit extra maintenance. So if you guys are wanting to do it, you just know that you're cleaning your stuff out at least once a year.
There's lots of things to decide too, because like they also have like pressure fitted fittings, floppy tube, hard tube, hose clamps. Like
if you're new, just get rubber hoses.
Yeah, just
they look
clamps.
Hose clamps no, you don't need hose clamps. You don't need hose clamps. The EK's got a cool little solution. It's little barbs. So you press on the hose onto there, and then it's got a lock collar on there.
Oh,
that's what I'm using, and it works perfectly.
Yeah. Did you get a kit from them? The 380 kit or whatever it was.
No, I didn't get a kit. I got it was a kit that was like one of their suggested parts list for the exact computer case that I have with the exact GPU options.
Oh.
GPU, CPU, motherboard
load
option.
Me up, full custom loop. Let's go.
Yep. Everything I like. The custom loop from EK was like just under $1,500.
Oh, I don't doubt it. When you start adding in all the radiators and all the heat, you have to buy specialized heat plates for like all your components.
Well, the GPU front and back plate, because I've got the active back plate cooling on there too. Even though it's only a 3080 Ti, I still have the active back plate cooling.
I'm sure it brings it down a couple C, right?
I guess, because I've never seen it get over and I've never seen it get hot before. It's like 48 C's, about it. But yeah, I mean, like the 2 water blocks, that was like almost $600 right there. It was like $250, almost $300 a piece.
The new stuff, man. You got to pay to play too.
And then the Threadripper block. That was like $190 for that.
Yeah, the EK, those guys hustle to get that stuff out like right away, man. But they want a premium for it too.
You get to see the EK branding over everything.
Yeah.
And then I was able to. Then I chose their strongest fans that they option. It's got RGB ring RGB in it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes me want to go build another PC now already.
Right.
Damn it, Nab.
I'm not sorry. You should build one.
Ooh. Well, what are we doing? We got a Patreon stream tomorrow.
Oh hell yeah, we got Patreon tomorrow, so all of you FA people with the wrenches, we'll be doing the end of the month sermon. So if you guys want to be a part of that and figure out what that's all about, you got to join the Patreon. Links down below. I know, shameless shill, shameless,
yeah, shame. Well,
shame.
If we didn't get unallowed to be monetized, half a dozen times, we wouldn't have this problem.
Right? I'm just saying, right?
They don't like freedom, so we talk about financial freedom. They just can't have that,
Right.
Want to do something besides money? What's wrong with you?
100%. So we are at that 1 hour, fellas. Certainly smash that lizardy like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, one last little cool thing. For anybody living in Montana, you now have the right to mine. Crypto Bill passes the House.
Right to mine?
Yep, you have the right to mine crypto.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep, they are one of the new states that are embracing the crypto future, right along with Wyoming and Utah.
Very nice.
How's it? I don't know what that is. It looks like the top of your whatever you have it sitting on.
Oh yeah, I got freaking cameras just laying around. Like they're not even on tripods. They're just like sitting on a shelf. Like hi. We gangsta in here.
Right. We've DCA'd that tripod money.
Yeah, people gotta eat.
Gotta eat and gotta get Bitcoin and gotta eat.
That's right.
Tripod's optional.
You guys DCA'd this Friday. It was a good day too.
I know, right. Mind the dip, mind that dip.
Yeah. Oh, and thoughts go out to Mikhail. Hope you get better, buddy.
Right.
House.
I know everybody's sick, and he's got to be the adulter and sit there and
being sick and taking care of sick kids.
Right.
The worst.
I know. You want to sit there and crawl into bed and crawl into a hole, and then
leave me alone.
Then you hear the baby, and you're like, oh god damn it. I gotta get up.
Yeah.
So, thank you everybody being here and all of that good stuff. Let me go into here and
golf clap.
I'm gonna see if there's anybody that is alive here. So we putting in a redirect to Chump Change here since he is alive. So we'll push everybody. Wow. We'll push everybody right on over to our guy Chump Change. Kind of push that viewers train on along. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you all for subscribing, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. If you would like to sit there and join the Patreon, links down below, like I was saying. If you don't want to join the Discord, the Patreon, certainly join Discord. It is free, guys. Love to have you either way, part of the community, guys, because that's what it's all about. Hanging out with
questions over there. Ask them
right.
all.
Right. There will always be someone there to help out, and that's what the community is all about, guys. So thank you all for being here. With all that being said, peace out, stay savage, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yo.
Yo.
Yo.